Well, I came back on live because I don't actually know when the stream ended. I wasn't looking at the computer, and I didn't notice that the power had gone out. So I came back on to thank Louis Pagan Ponce and the Bantanyan Brawler and all of my Patreon members, Patreon subscribers, all of my YouTube subscribers that have helped me over the years with my channel. Thank you very much. And um, what more can I say? I mean, I could go on and pretend to be this, that, and the other thing. I try to give you guys entertainment and a little bit of humor mixed in with some truths and some comedy. And I know I do that. And there are other people that refuse to believe that my content has any value at all. So for them, we give them the fickle finger of fate award and let them move on to their shallow lives. However, one thing that is for certain, and I don't know how to impress upon you, how do I impress upon you what it's like living here in the Philippines? Since I got home from my dentist appointment yesterday at about just around 3:30, 4 o'clock, we had eight blackouts. Most of them were last night. One apparently was this afternoon. So you people that think you're going to come to the Philippines and live here, I guess I could do a blog on what it's really like living in the Philippines right now, because when we went dark and we had a blackout, I went outside and went up to the roof to start putting the new roof on. Then it started raining. Then I came downstairs and did some work in my shop. Nothing important, but nothing I videotaped or anything like that. Then I had work to do on a piece of equipment that really was just a messy job. I had to grease some fittings and add some oil to something. So, and it started raining again. So I'm back here. So I wanna tell you something. I was in the dentist's office yesterday, and there was a girl, a secretary. There are two secretaries there. She asked me to help her with her YouTube channel about 5 or 6 weeks ago. And I didn't. I would have, but the opportunity never with her YouTube channel. When I was going to do that with her in the office, I was going to sit down and help her do some things with it. She got involved with a conversation on Facebook, chatting with somebody, and she told me to wait, as if her Facebook conversation was more important than me helping her get her channel started. Be that as it may, the dentist wanted me to date the secretary, and I said no. I'm not interested to date that secretary. Why? I said because while I was talking to her, she ignored me and got involved with Facebook conversation or whatever it was, and I'm not interested in that. I'm in the office waiting to help her with her channel, and she's ignoring me. So she really didn't need the help, or she's that attractive that she thinks she can get away with that stuff. Either way, I never did help her, and already in just a few weeks, she has a pretty substantial subscriber base because she is very pretty, but not my type of person. Let's put it like that. Very smart, very pretty, very well groomed, very educated, but not interested. So, and she's also young. She's looking for a much younger man, I'm sure. I didn't ask her, but I wasn't interested in her from the get-go. I was only going to help her with the channel. Either way. So the dentist said to me, well, I'm sure if you're not interested, she'll find a man. And she totally wants a foreigner. And this brings me to my point. She does not want a foreigner that already lives in the Philippines and knows the deal. She wants a foreigner that she can train and, groom to be the kind of man she wants, or at least for a while, or somebody that she can control. She can't control me. That's been proven when she was on Facebook. I just walked out. Where you going? No, Lance, I just walked out. I'm not, if you're going to ignore me because something else came up, that's fine. That's your prerogative. Anyway, so I said to the dentist, she's not my type. Because I know what she wants. She wants a foreigner that's not in the Philippines. Probably younger, probably with more money, and probably someone that, who knows what she wants. I mean, I never got that far with it. But one thing I will tell you about the Philippines, if you're planning on moving here, things are not as they appear to be. When you go to these worthless Philippines vlogging genre channels, and you see 5 things that want to make you move to the Philippines. For every 5 things that these people portray as clickbait to make you move to the Philippines, there's something like 20 plus blackouts a month that would make you think twice before you move to the Philippines. There are other things like, now I don't know about you people, but in America, and I don't know about the Europeans, but in America, one of the major pastimes in America is bowling. They don't have a bowling alley in Bohol. Another pastime is going to the movies. Well, they have 2 movie theaters in Bohol. In America, there might be 200 movie theaters in the same amount of square miles. More people, but more options as well. And then here, they don't have amusement parks at all. There are no such thing as an amusement park with water rides. And I think there's one in Manila. They don't have that kind of stuff here. So you just can't take off for the day and go to a water ride park. Even though it's warm here all year, I think they have one in Manila, but I've never seen it. They also don't have a gun range here, where in America you could own different types of guns and you can go to the gun range. They don't have anything like that here. In America, you could go, if you want to operate a backhoe or a bobcat or a trackhoe or a crane, any kind of heavy equipment. There are places in America you can go to a heavy equipment farm and operate heavy equipment. Real bulldozers, real D8s, real backhoes, real bobcats, real trackhoes, real drill rigs. You can operate all that stuff. You can practice, or you could just make a video of you operating a backhoe or a bobcat. They don't have anything like that here. So when you get this clickbait, what's beautiful about the Philippines? A lot of people will say the beaches, and then the beaches are pretty if you're outside of a city area. If you're in a city area, the beaches are probably not the highest quality water where you're going to go in. Not all, but most. Boracay is a perfect example. They destroyed the ecosystem in Boracay with pollutants, effluents, they call it, from septic tanks, gray and solid matter, and to the point where you couldn't go in the water. So that was one of the number 1 tourist industries in the Philippines, that because there were no laws on septic tanks, they destroyed the ecosystem. And the same thing, although you don't read about it or hear about it, the same thing happened to Alona Beach. There was the most beautiful reef just a few hundred feet offshore in Alona Beach. Now it's a dead reef. There's some seaweed. If you're on the reef for 3 hours scuba diving in shallow water, maybe you'll see a fish. Maybe. You won't see an octopus, probably, ever. Although they're there, you won't see them. You won't see shrimp. You won't see I was scuba diving last September for 3 hours in the water, 3 hours, in shallow and up the water up to 45 feet deep, and I saw one blackfish, rockfish, blackfish. It's kind of like a seahorse. It doesn't really move. If the dive master didn't point it out to me, I wouldn't even have known what it was. She wrote it down on the chart. One fish I saw in 3 hours. The reef used to be a living reef with billions of fish all over the reef. So Alona Beach, from the effluents and septic water and gray and solid matter, there's no more snorkeling or scuba diving of any value on that reef. So there's a lot of things about the Philippines today that was different 10 years ago, 7 years ago, 8 years ago. So my point is there's not much to do here. If you don't have something that you have planned to do here and you come here, 99% of the people that come here go home in a short period of time, less than 6 months. And the girl who wanted me to help her with her YouTube channel, she's looking for a long-term relationship with a foreigner. And I said, good luck with that. Because what is there to do here? Well, she wants to go to America. That's her plan, I guess. She said she'd like to see America, so that might be her plan. But there's not much to do for foreigners here. Me, I don't drink. I did drink. I drank because of the injury on my leg. But since then, no. I had 2 ounces of rum since September. And I did that to go to sleep. But that's it. 2 ounces in today's 2 months since my birthday. 2 ounces in 2 months. So I don't drink. You can't go to there's no archery range if you're into archery. There's no gun ranges if you're into guns. And if there was, the laws are so strict here to break down what you need to do to have a gun in your house. First of all, your Filipina girlfriend has to have the gun registered to her. The gun itself has to be registered each year. If you have an additional clip or magazine for the gun, the additional magazine has to be registered. If you have an additional barrel for the gun, parts, that has to be registered. If you have an additional revolver, the chambers, the 4, 5, or 6 cylinder chambers for a revolver, that has to be registered. And they all have to be renewed each year. And then each year they have to be renewed, or there are some really, 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 really strict fines and prison sentences if you don't do that on time. If you move from one house to another, even across the street, all the registrations have to be changed from the house you were in to the house across the street, even from one apartment to the other. At any time, you have to give them permission to come and look at your gun to see that it's in a locked box. So to go to a shooting range, you'd have to bring your Filipina wife or girlfriend with you, and she would have to be in the car while you transported the weapon. So that's a major hobby in America. That's gone. And when you want to move here, you got to sell your weapons. You can't bring weapons here. You go to jail forever. 6 years for one thing, 12 years for another, a year for each additional bullet that's not registered. It's, in other words, like if you have say you had a 9mm weapon and that shoots 9mm cartridges. If you had somewhere mixed up in your 9mm cartridges, you had a 38 caliber shell, which could be used in 9mm, so it's a bad example. If you had a 45 caliber slug, a gun, bullet, and it was mixed in with you could go to jail for a year for that. you're about to get removed from my channel. What you're trying to do is incite me to say something really negative towards you, and so that I will get a strike on my channel. So what we're going to do is we're going to block you. You were on my last show, and I didn't block you on my last show. I should have, but I didn't. But I will now. And there was another guy that called me up, said I committed slander. Well, I don't think so, but we'll find out. If YouTube calls it slander, or the police call it slander, we'll find out, won't we? Yeah, we will. So if you think you're going to incite some hate speech from me so you could strike my channel down, some insignificant little commenter like yourself, probably that's not going to happen. Okay, we're moving right along. We're moving right up to you as a commenter. You should be there any minute now. And then we'll be able to block you permanently. Okay. Fazio is a predator. You're gone. From Timothy Wed Overstayer, you're gone. Okay. So how did that work out for you? Go start another channel. Hard user on this channel. I didn't even get to read by you. You were a very busy person. Well, you have several channels named the same thing, huh? We'll just stop. We'll just hide you in every way, shape, or form. That's 2. Mickey Mason. Thanks for stopping by, Mickey. Yeah, that, well, you guys spend your life trolling other people's channel. What a life. I'm trying to describe what it's like living here in the Philippines. Another. See, now this guy's a professional troll. He has 4 different channels. He just got blocked on his back. So you can't, so if you had a 45 caliber bullet mixed in with your 9mm bullets, you could, theoretically, you could go to jail for a year for that. If you had an extra barrel. For your gun, you could go to jail for that. It's an amazing place. Wow, that's 6 channels. Wow, that's a lot of trolling. That's a lot of 7 channels. 7 channels. 7 channels this guy had. So there's a lot of things here in the Philippines that you can't do, that you think that you could do, or that you can do in America. Another one. 8 channels. Oh my God. Oh my God, that's a lot of channels. Where is that? Wow, 8 troll channels. That's a lot. That's a lot. That might be a record. 8 troll channels. Imagine spending the time to make all of those comments and troll. Anyway, there's not a lot of stuff to do here in the Philippines. That's why I'm building a hotel. That's why I keep busy. 9 channels. Oh, God. Okay, this is going to be how we're going to spend some time here today. What happened here? I don't know what happened there. Wow. Okay, let's go back over here. Jesse. That's 10 channels. 10 channels. Imagine having 10 troll channels. And we have another one, 11. Okay, we'll go over here. I think this time what I'll do is report you. I'll just put that harassing, hate speech, or graphic violence. And we'll report you. Okay, we reported you this time. We didn't remove you. And we'll report that one also. It's harassment. Okay. So, up, ibby bibby, up. Wow. You're right. That's 11 channels. That's got to be a record. So there's not a lot to do here in the Philippines. You guys want to come to the Philippines? You listen to these worthless bloggers. What do you want to do when you move to the Philippines? And there's what options do they give you? Oh, and the women that want you to take them to the Maldives, which is they want you to take them to Boracay or some place called the Maldives. I'm not real sure where that is. It's a very beautiful, scenic vacation area where the prices of the rooms start at a few $100s per night, and your houses are on stilts. Very, very nice place, but don't go to the Philippines and go there and expect the rest of the Philippines to be like that, because let me tell you something about the Philippines. Let's get into the nitty-gritty of the Philippines. When it rains lightly, like it's raining out now here in the province, you don't smell too many smells of urine and fecal matter, because everybody has like a cesspit behind their house. But in the city, when it rains lightly like this, they don't have public restrooms. And people just pee anywhere they want, men and women. They just walk over to the side of the road and they pee up against a telephone pole or against a wall or corner. And even where the jeepneys are, especially where the jeepneys are, in the corner of the lots or where there's a tree, oh my God, the smell of urine is overwhelming. It's just an amazing, horrific smell of urine. And all that really is tiny little particles of urine entering your nose through your nose membrane. So basically, and your auditory factor, well, you're basically smelling it, but you're also tasting it. It's urine. What you're smelling is urine. What you're tasting in your breath is urine. That is standard in the big city areas, in most of the concrete jungle, that you're going to smell that. The sewers are all open sewers, so when you smell an open sewer, you're going to be breathing in the effluents or fecal matter of the population in small microscopic particles. So you're breathing in fecal matter and urine, and God knows what else is in there, whatever else is in there. And this is standard. I mean, now me, I was a septic tank contractor, excavation contractor for years. So for me, somebody would say, we have a tank that's full. I'd pop the cork. The corks are usually 18 by 18 or 20 by 20, and we'd get a pump truck and pump it out, but we're dealing with raw septic water. Now, I was used to that as part of my job. Make a lot of money doing that, but It's a dirty, disgusting job that most people don't want to do. But here, you don't have a choice. In America, you don't really smell that like that. Everybody has a septic tank. The sewers are all underground. They all go into pump stations. The pump stations add chlorine and very high concentrations of chlorine and microbes and bacteria to kill the bacteria. And they go through a paddle system and an aeration system. They don't have anything like that here. It's just raw sewage goes straight into the ocean. So that's something that you got to get used to. And it's not going to go away anytime soon. They don't have any plans for underground sewer systems. They just paved over the biggest septic tank system in Bohol, which is huge. It's for the wet market, which is all rotten fish, bacteria, fish guts, fish heads, fish scales, remains of fish. The most bacteria-filled laden products on the planet come from fish and rotten fish. And they just paved over it. Now, did they put an aeration system in? No. Did they put any motors or pump system in? No. They just paved right over it. And now there's another big one that they're just going to pave over. They didn't upgrade it in any way. They just paved it up so it's not an open septic system. But when it rains, water just pours out of the top of the septic system, which is acres of what they just covered, all the septic tanks. So it's acres of water. You just see water bleeding up from that where they covered over it with roll-out bricks and hard pack. So the other day it rained really hard in the city, and there was when it rains really hard or not so hard or even a little bit hard, and you see puddles, streams of water in the street, people say, how did I get an infection on my leg? Chances are I got an infection from septic water flowing down the street. That's what it is. It's not rainwater. It's the rainwater that went into the septic tanks through the leaders and gutters of a house, that went into the cesspits, and then the overflow went into the street, and then the street brought it down to a lower point, and then to the lower point eventually it'll lead into some sort of pipe system, which eventually will lead straight into the bay of Cebu. I mean directly into the bay. It won't go through a pipe to a chlorine center or an aeration system. It's so different living here. Jollibee, happy Thanksgiving to you too as well. Jollibee Ashko, thank you for saying hello. Yeah, it's so different living here. You have no idea what it's like living here. The standard operating procedure here is none of the workers in any of the stores you're going to go into are over the age of 25. None of the counter people or the people that are stocking the shelves. 25 or below is typically who's working in the store. And typically it's their first job. And typically, if they're working in the supermarket, I would say that 95% of them have a really good understanding of where things are. Like if you say, can you please tell me where the laundry soap is? And you say it slow, they will be able to tell you, count the aisle 37. But that's all they know. But most of them know where everything in the store is. But if you go into that's in the supermarket. But if you go into the supermarket and ask anybody in the supermarket, where can I buy a keychain? Well, they won't know where to buy a keychain. They know food. If you go into the sports center and you want to buy a keychain, they can tell you where to buy a keychain. But if you want to buy a boxing bag in the sports center, we don't have a heavy bag. Or a speed bag. We don't have a speed bag, sir. Well, you're a sports center, yeah? Yes, sir. But we don't have a speed bag. Can you order the speed bag? No, sir. Can you order the platform for me? No, sir. But they're a sports depot. Sports Depot is the name of it. If they don't have it in the store, in stock, they just tell you, no, sir, we don't have it. Not like in America, Sports Depot, biggest sports store in the ICM mall or the BQ mall. Order me a platform and a speed bag with a professional swivel. Yes, sir. It'll be here in 2 weeks. Can we have a deposit in America? And you get it in 2 weeks. Here, they tell you to go to Cebu or Manila. That'll cost you 5, 6, 7, 8,000 pesos, $150 to go to Cebu and go to the malls and then look for it in the malls. And they won't have it there either. So different here. Anyway, I don't know. I'm looking at the weather here. Hold on a minute. Stop. It started. Stop. It started. Stopped again. I'm going to say goodbye. Stopped raining. I got things to do outside before it rains again. I have a whole system that I tore apart, and I have it uncovered because I started working on it before during the blackout. So I want to close that system up, lock it down and cover it. I don't finish putting back together on a machine. So I'll say thanks for watching, and that's it, man. You people that think you're coming. It all started with the girl who wanted to meet a guy from America. I said, what do you think? What do you think? It's not easy to meet a guy from America that's going to come here, number one, 6 months from now maybe, and then want to bring you back. Because, believe me, I talked with the girl for 15 minutes. She's a good secretary. She was a great dental assistant. She was very professional in her work. But to date her, not only don't I have enough money, but I'm too old, nor would I have the patience for somebody that I'm talking to you and you start doing something else without saying, excuse me. I don't think so. So she's a nice girl, though, but she thinks she's going to meet an American that's going to bring her to America right off the bat. Maybe she will. She's really pretty. She's really pretty. I mean, like, exceptionally pretty. But as pretty as she is, you have competition for 300 or 400 guys. You want to compete with 300 or 400 people for the heartstrings of a girl that's going from one place, flittering from one guy to the other to look for the best offer? I don't think so. I don't think that's a profitable endeavor. Anyway, I'm going to get outside and put my system at least under wraps. Thanks for watching, and we had a blackout. I'm Pink Permy from Michael Fazio in the Philippines, and happy Thanksgiving to you and yours. I don't think I'll be blogging tomorrow. I think I have something to do. I may even go. I don't think I'll be going to my buffet, which is your Thanksgiving, my Friday. I don't think I'll be doing a buffet. I'm not sure. Why don't you guys that called up the buffet and told them I was harassing the guests, why don't you call the buffet again? I'll be going in Saturday or Sunday. See if that works this time. I don't think it's going to work, but I was greeted at the door by the manager last. I'm doing what I want to do. I don't think so. But you could try. You could spend some time like that guy. Look at all those comments that got removed. 11 accounts. Bye-bye for now. I'm Pink Permy from the Philippines, which means take care always. From Mr. Congeniality himself. And if you knew why they called me Mr. Congeniality, you would be. All right, thanks, Mickey Mason. Happy Thanksgiving to you as well. If you knew why they called me Mr. Congeniality, you would laugh. You would laugh. That's not very. Whoa, serious? Yes, serious. Gotta go. Bye bye for now. I'm Pink Permy from the Philippines, baby. That's right.